Welcome to Capital Conquest, the podcast, where we take an in-depth look at the influencers who have made and continue to make Capital Conquest the extraordinary martial arts event that it is. My name is Scott Campsall, and today, Hanshi Therien and I speak with the First Lady of Capital Conquest, Sensei Terrilynne Therien. Out of all of the interviews we have done on the podcast, this is the most important one for people who have never been to a Capital Conquest event. You will hear some valuable tips about attending this year, but what's more, when you arrive and you see her working tirelessly behind the registration desk, you will be able to return her consistent, friendly smile and say you heard our discussion with Sensei Terrilynne Therien. This interview is probably going to be more in-depth than any other interview we've ever done so far in our podcast history. We have Terrilynne Therien here. She is the, what would you call it? The go-to, I've got a problem, I got to see who, I'm going to see Terrilynne. Is that basically where you'd be on the list? Is there a title that goes with that?
That sounds about right. I like the title Chief Cook and Bottle Washer.
Okay.
You name it, I'll do my best to find it, to make it happen, to put it all together.
I have to admit, every time we come in, we go to the hotel, we check in, and then we go to the desk, and we are automatically looking for you.
And on that evening, that's my favorite evening between Friday night and Saturday morning, because seeing everybody coming in, seeing everybody for the first time in a year normally, this year being 3 years, it's just unbelievable to make those connections, to kick off the weekend with such great energy, to see everybody as they're coming in with their excitement. It's absolutely priceless.
Is that the number one thing that you're looking forward to this year, or is there anything else in particular that stands out?
Gosh, how could I even pick something? The momentum for this year is bigger than I've ever seen before. When we had people starting to reach out to us at the first of this year in January saying, so when Capital Conquest happens, when can I book my room? How can I? It was so far ahead of all of our plans, not that we weren't thinking about it, but we normally wouldn't start those details until about July. So knowing that everybody was that excited, we just knew that it had a momentum behind it, that it was going to be so much bigger. So that alone is exciting to me, because that means we're going to see a lot of new faces. Now, saying that though, there's such great training, there's such great things that go on through that weekend. And then every year we try to do something new for everybody. There's way too much to pinpoint one certain thing as to what I'm excited about. As you can tell, I'm kind of excited about it all.
There's a point where we look at this and there's, organized chaos. So we can walk in and we know you've got everything figured out as far as our envelopes and registration and everything. Is there anything that we can do on our end as participants or as instructors that we can do to make your life a little easier?
That's a great question. So unorganized chaos or organized chaos, absolutely it is, because when the registration happens in the morning, that's the key to get everybody in and get them to where they need to be. Now, if you think about it, all those people coming in all at once, it's hard to be able to meet everybody's expectation right away. So for me to get everything organized, if you come in that last hour, be prepared to be in a lineup, be prepared for it to be a little bit slower. The earlier you can get is always the better. But this year we've got registration online, which has been a key part of this year's event, because now you can go on, you can pay by credit card and have everything in for pre-registration, which means when you come in, you give me your name, I have your envelope, or my team has your envelope, and you're good. You can go in. The thing that slows us down the most is when we have to register everybody and fill out the paperwork, because obviously we need to know who you are and where you're from, and then organize all of that. That will slow down the process. So my biggest encouragement is, if you know you're coming and what you're coming for, go online and register early at www.capitalconquest.org. All the information that you want is there. We've got a brand new website this year that has all the schedule of events of what's happening on each different day, a little bit of background to the whole event of Capital Conquest. And the registration is on there with a button that you can go on a secured site to be able to make sure that all your information is captured, and then I get it through that.
So you've been doing this for a few years now. Is there anything that stands out historically speaking where you can go, that's one of my fondest memories of Capital Conquest?
Wow. Every year has a fond memory. I think it's always exciting when you see the instructors come in from overseas. The energy that they come across with, especially if they have students with them, is always a spark in the whole event. To see the young students as they experience things for the first time, over the years, it's all of those things wrapped up into one. It truly is magical. And if you've been at Capital Conquest, you certainly understand it and you want to come back.
Okay. So then on the reverse of that, is there anything where you can sit back and go, that was a really near miss thing that could have happened? That was something that, wow, that was really rough moment for me. Again, flipping the table now and saying, okay, that was the thing I wish we'd never had to relive again.
Okay. So it was at the Hilton Lac-Lémy. The event was, I want to say probably about 2015. The registration had a lineup. Everything is going fast paced. Like you say, it's that organized chaos. And all of a sudden I have Hanshi standing in front of me and he says, I've lost my hearing aid. I can't find my glasses and I don't know where my notes are, but I got to go because they're looking for me up on the stage. And at that point, knowing that, being his go-to and always making sure that he's got all that he needs, knowing that all those tools were not with him, but he was brave enough to go and absolutely kick things off with nobody else knowing that this was all happening. It was just, to me, it was incredible. And it was a moment of panic in my heart trying to figure out how do I put it all together, that he didn't need me after all. He was great.
Hey, I can say that she handled it perfectly. I have better hearing aids. I don't know where she got them, so that's fine. My glasses were good for 4 seasons. I don't know where she got them, but they are also very fine. But I remember also at the Palais des Congrès, we used to do all the registration on the 2nd floor, and we rent the whole 3rd floor. Friday, the opening day at 2:00 in the afternoon, the lady that works for the guy who handles the 2nd floor says, no, you cannot be there. What? You cannot be there. So we had to rearrange and turn on a dime to say we are going now to go everything upstairs on the 3rd floor. But let me tell you about Terrilynne. She made it even better than it ever was by handling it on the 3rd floor. When there's a crunch and the going gets bad, she's the go-to person at the front. If she can't handle it, then she'll come to me, all right? Then I'll do it. But very, very rare she can handle. But that day, you saved hours, if not the weekend. Congratulations, sweetheart.
There's always a few hiccups in the background that change direction, change all the plans that we've been doing and organizing, and then all of a sudden just put us in a completely different direction, but we take it all in stride and make it all happen.
I've talked to some people that have listened to the podcast, and a lot of them talk about how Hanshi has some amazing questions for all of the guests. And every once in a while, I know Kyoshi Vona one time, Kos Vona said to me, he says, wow, he says, I heard that episode, you actually got a question in. So now I'm looking at this episode and I'm going, Hanshi's really quiet. Like, it's like
that truly does not happen very often.
No, I know.
Maybe I lost my hearing aids. I don't know.
So this is your moment, sir. You have a chance to interview your wife and ask her questions about the event. What have you got?
Well, I'm going to tell you something is that when you work together, like you and Jen do a lot of stuff together, it could be a royal problem or it could be the best honeymoon because you work together. Well, me working with Terrilynne, I have to say sometimes I miss 4 or 5 words in a sentence of 10 words, Terrilynne, over there. And she'll get it. She'll know, she'll look at me, and then she will get it. But we are so in sync because one thing she did not mention is that we've been working for months and months and months on doing this. Our weekends have been approximately 30 to 40 hours almost of work. Every day, 12 to 15 hours. And the closer we get, we try to cover everything. We know we have all the people in town. They are so important to us. The beginners, especially the new people coming in, they walk in and they are so impressed and amazed with the number of people, the size of the room, the instructors, the superstars, the movie stars, and everybody that's over there. But before they come in and get to me and you as a teacher, Terrilynne and her crew are the first person that they see. They got a smile. They work good. They have answers for everything. And you know how it is. I forgot my tickets. Oh, you forgot your tickets. What is your name? And then she'll fix everything. She is a godsend to me to run the event. And with her team, of course, and we have other people. So when you work with the team, it's important. But I'm going to share that because Terrilynne deserves to have that praise. Everybody says, hey, Hanshi, super job. I didn't do it. My wife did the work. We all have certain things that we have to look for and answer to. And she's just great. But she can also tell you that people will come in from Europe and some of them don't speak English. Some don't speak French or English. I don't know how she does it, but she does it. So she manages all that stuff, makes everybody looks good, stays in the background, smiles. Hey, it's working out. It's great. Thank you. You do a great job, Terrilynne.
Thank you for that.
So this year is supposed to be a rather large event compared to other years. You're probably going to have a lot of beginners. We've been talking to other instructors who've talked about the fact that their registrations are up and we have new students coming in. So I sort of know just from over the years what it's like to come in, but can you sort of give us an idea? Let's say I'm a new student. What can I expect to see when I walk in?
Okay, for a new student coming in, as you arrive, of course, keep in mind we have areas for you to change. So you can change into your gis, but we ask you to keep your bags close to you for security reasons and that, because we don't have lockers or anything, but there's a place for you to get yourself organized, get your gi on, and lots of space around the sides for you to put your belongings. So that's always a concern, is where do I put my belongings? The next thing, we designed this event not for the instructors. This event completely is for the students. And when I say that, what I mean is that we'll have 16 different training areas with 16 different or more. I'm just giving this number from previous years. It may be more. Different mats with different instructors every hour. So the whole idea is for the student to come and enjoy the instructors that they find, to experience something new, to try something that's out of their normal training. It's not about following the same people that you've seen in your own dojos or that you know in your own area. So with that, challenge yourself. If you have a chance, you can come and ask me what classes that I would recommend. I'd be glad to figure it out from the styles that you train, from what your interests are, to be able to recommend a few people. It's really about 2 days to be able to get out as much as you can. Open your mind, train with as many as you can, meet people, change it up on the mats. Pick a different person to partner with, and don't be afraid to find the strangers that you can train with, because they'll become your friends. And those will be the people that you'll find next year when you come back next year. This is like a family reunion of sorts. This is like an old homecoming. It's so nice to be able to welcome the new people in and then, of course, bring them into the fold and watch them return afterwards.
And I'm going to add that one of my favorite classes ever, no matter where I go, it's beginners, because they eat, sleep, drink, look, walk martial arts. It doesn't matter. They're white belts. It's always impressive for them. They appreciate every word, every move, every gesture. And because I love people and I love beginners, I make sure that they are right away connected to martial arts. I want them to go back to their city, go back to work or school or university, whatever they do, and talk to all their friends about what kind of a great, awesome weekend they had. Then that friend will start joining the school that new student trains at. And that's what it's all about. It's about passing forward the spirit of martial arts, and it really draws in. So for a beginner to come in, the high ranks will be happy to see you. The black belts will be happy to see you. The other beginners will be happy to see you. And remember, in one of the interviews with Aline de la Rosa, they said, you that are coming back to Capital Conquest, take 3, 4, or 5 students and introduce them to new people. Just say, this is Bobby, and Bobby, I want you to meet Lucy, and she's from there. And then you walk away. And then by the end of the Capital Conquest, like Terrilynne said, you got a whole bunch of new friends. And by next year, they all look forward to see you again at Capital Conquest. So beginners are the most important people in your school. Beginners are the most important people at any martial arts event. And at Capital Conquest, you have from raw beginners to 10th degree black belt masters. Pretty good. Very nice in between.
Okay, so you sort of let the cat out of the bag. You said that if somebody came to you and said, what classes should I go to? And you'd sort of look at the individual. I know you're not training because you're busy doing whatever you've got to do as far as administration. But let's say you can get on the floor and you can train. Who are the instructors that stand out in your mind are the ones that people should go to?
I'm going to start by saying my biggest disappointment on my weekend is that I can't train as much as I'd love to train. And I've tried in the past to jump into a class or two, but to be able to keep everything moving smoothly and to take care of everybody, that's my priority on the weekend. My very first Capital Conquest was 19 years ago, and I've been at every one ever since.
How can that be when you're only 19?
Well, exactly, right?
She's 21, she's hiding it.
Started in the kids' classes. So at that point, then to be in a class like a Johann Skalberg, to do Cali and watch the magic that he provides, to do size with Kiyoshi Mike Civic and his wife Kiyoshi Laura, to experience Goshindo with Alain Saï. It's unbelievable to see what they bring to the mats when you haven't trained with them. This year, we're expanding in our kickboxing, and we're going to be doing a big commitment to our fighters. So we'll have punching bags, and we have classes assigned with, of course, the world champion, Giant Terrio. We've got also the amateur champion, Benoit Ladisser, teaching, on top of many, many others. So that's definitely going to be a highlight this year. We've always got classes for the children. On every hour, there's a special class that will be totally supported for the kids, from breaking to drills and techniques. The instructors do a lot of work in behind the scenes to be able to put the best experience possible for the kids. So that one's always easy to recommend. There's so many different directions to go in. And women instructors, it's hard to find as many women instructors in one place. To be able to go and absolutely celebrate the martial arts through eyes that way is incredible.
When you do the lineup of instructors, it's a platform where good instructors become great instructors. It's a platform where great instructors share their knowledge, experience to other future great masters. But that filters down all the way to white belt. I always try to find something that's going to better what we do and something that's going to be new at what we do. And this year we have several new surprises. I'm not going to mention all of them, but different platform and different programs. And like Terrilynne was saying, it's hard to pick one teacher, one martial arts discipline, because we have maybe 15 or 20 martial arts discipline. We have 60 to 70 instructors, and we're zooming across the world. Some of the classes, it's going to be a dandy. It's going to be an epic historical martial arts event.
One of the things about doing this podcast is it's audio only, obviously, but we are on Zoom. And what I think is really neat is that while I'm talking to you both about something that's obviously taking so much work, every time you talk about it, you're smiling. And so if I was going to advise anybody, you heard it right here on the podcast, Terrilynne wants to keep on smiling. So let's register online. Let's go on, make sure that she's still smiling during that weekend. Thank you both very much for everything that you're doing to make this event the success that it is. And I'm looking forward to seeing you at Capital Conquest.
See you soon.
Capital Conquest will be happening November 4th, 5th, and 6th, 2022. For more information, you can go to our website at capitalconquest.org or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/capitalconquestwkf. This has been a Campsall Broadcasting production, and as Hanshi said, Capital Conquest is a platform for good instructors to become great instructors. It's why I keep going. I keep hoping this will be my year.